Well, I fell upon the idea back in 2009 working with Xerox in the Middle East, where they had a range of new colour cube printers, which were six-figure costing printers, and they wanted to launch an advertising campaign across the Middle East to sell these to existing and new customers. We'd made a lot of video content for them, and it was a case of how do we get their customers to see this video content that we've made. And the concept was devised between myself and the MD of Xerox at the time, a chap called Andy Hurt. And we stumbled across the idea of sending video content to these customers as a direct mail piece in the post. And so I went away to have a look at some factories that were making photo frames, and I spoke to my old guys at Samsung who made the great screens for the phones, and basically built a concept card that started when you open it because of a magnet mechanism, and automatically played the video. We knew who these customers were, we knew who the potential customers were, and we knew where they lived. So identifying them had already been done. Hitting them with something that was compelling enough to make them look at it and pay attention to it was what we needed to do, and it worked. And as soon as those cards hit the desks of those companies, they wanted to know more information. They sold out of the stock of colour cube printers, and I had Brother, HP, Lexmark, Ricoh all calling up saying, what is this TV in a card, and can we have some? So from there it kind of sold itself. We did a New Year's party for the QE2, and the head of Bentley was there and immediately ordered 10,000 cards. So we then sold all into BMW, Ferrari, Mini, all of the major car companies. Kia was a big one for us. And from there it just rolled into the next job. You know, we would sell to Nike, and then Adidas would call. We'd sell to Barclays, and then Visa would call. We'd sell to Red Bull, Virgin Galactic, Lucozade would call, Emirates Airlines would call. So it was never really a case of trying to get business. The best salesman for the cards are the cards themselves. Number of reasons. I think if you are trying to sell a new product or service and you need to tell your customers about it, a great way of doing that is through video rather than a written brochure. Video never gets thrown away in its printed form. It's quite remarkable actually. It just stays on the desk like a plumber's phone number around a tap, waiting for something to happen. It's like having a salesman in your room. Anybody that wants to get above the noise and send something directly to an individual which they will pay attention to, whether that is training or sales, it works exceptionally well in those environments. It rarely needs recharging. I mean, we've had cards sitting on the shelves for 9 years. They still play perfectly fine. I get clients phoning me up from 6 or 7 years ago saying, I've got one of your cards here, just playing the old video we did, we're relaunching one. It's completely recyclable, so you can send them back to us and we can recycle all the elements of it. Sunseeker, for example, are talking about putting all of their brochures on a digital format so that if there's any changes to be made, there's no reprints required. So there's a lot of positive energy about a new product that you look at it and you think, well, this is electronics. Is this damaging the planet? Well, it's not if you have a regular brochure that you need to send out, which may need changing. And I worked at Samsung for several years, and I can tell you with the amount of products they have, a paper brochure does not last you very long. If you have any complicated information, so medical, financial, that kind of stuff, much more better appreciated in a video, and that's whether you've got an illness or you're being sold a mortgage product. And you can navigate your way through a video essentially much easier than printed matter. we all use the same navigation controls on a TV and a card as on any other digital screen. You connect your computer to the card, a little envelope pops up with the information and the storage inside it. You drag in what you want, you drag out what you don't want, you unplug the card and it automatically plays what you've got. Its standard capacity is 1 gig. We can condense video, compress video with no loss of quality, so usually 1 gig will hold about 40 minutes of video, which is more than enough for most of our customers, but we can take that up to 8 gig. So if you've got a training manual or with new university courses now, you want to keep an entire year's worth of study on there, that's absolutely fine as well. Very interesting question. My first thoughts when I first came up with the concept was that this would be a fantastic opportunity for brands that nobody had heard of to rise above the noise and get some recognition. And of course what happened was, as soon as the main brands out there got wind of it, they all became our customers. So we've probably got the top 2 or 3 brands in every single vertical market, half of the FTSE 100 companies, and these are companies that have come to us rather than any sort of deliberate strategy on my part of trying to get to them. So that's changed with the onset of COVID and its effect on a number of industries. Our industries are changing. I mean, we were very, very big in sports. We had most of the Premier League clubs and most of the Football League through Sky Sports. Education's a huge market for us. Training is a big market for us. IT, financial services, any product really that needs a reasonable explanation behind it is better off in a video. In the future, I think education is going to be a big one for us. I think that it's quite possible that books could be replaced with screens. You could have a separate TV and a card for each subject. It could grow with you all over the years. It would give you a great record of not only what you're studying, but the life that you've had as you're studying that. So I think that's going to be a big market for us. We're still, though, very, very focused on the corporate business to business, new service, new product, new offering, that you have a reasonable sized client base, let's say between 500 and 5,000. We sell regularly in large quantities to companies that when they initially approached us, we were doing 50, 100 cards for. So there's plenty of, I mean, 96% of our customers reorder within 4 weeks. And if you look at those orders down the years, they have increased year on year. So where we would be selling 100, 200 cards to a client 5 years ago, they're now buying 3,000, 4,000 cards. So it's it works. So usually a client will approach us and say, I've got this product or I've got this service, I've got an audience of 500 people that I want to reach, we've got a video, what do we do? So I will talk them through the design element of the card, how we design that for maximum gain. So you need to have a number on the back or on the front that's a call to action. When the customer opens the card, what navigation do we need there? How long is the video? Do you want to add anything, given that you're sending a direct mail piece? This might be a video that had previously just been in cinemas or on TV as an advertising medium. So it will vary, it will need a little tweak, but you know, that's what we've been doing for 10 years. So that's, you know, it's up to us to ensure that it has its maximum benefit. Once we've got that element designed, either you would have an agency that would design it for you, or we use our own agency to design it for you. Once that's designed and approved, that goes through production. All the components are gathered together. The card is created in about 2 weeks and gets back to you, and then it's ready to go out. Or we send it out for you. It really can be any format you like. People tend to buy what they see. So the format has been quite traditional over the years of either an A5 with a 7-inch screen, an A5 with a 5-inch screen, or an A6 with a 4-inch screen, or an A3 business card. But within the boundaries of the screen, you can have any shape you like. So we've created boxes, bottles, footballs. One side of that will be, hard and flat because that's where the screen sits, but there is no limit to, and there's no limit to the material either. It can be made out of anything. It can be made out of card, it can be made out of rubber, it can be made out of wood. I first created a touchscreen card about 8 years ago. People tend to like to see what they're able to do straight away. So a card with buttons allows you to navigate, you can see the buttons. If you can't see the buttons on the screen, you may not press that screen to find them. And I'm a firm believer in any advertising is you keep things as simple as possible. Try and make the customer do as little as they need to do in order to see your message. So, the idea behind the QR codes I never really got behind, because as soon as I have to do something to read your message, I'm less interested in it. Well, because we don't do a lot of outbound marketing and advertising, we're not really narrowing areas down for ourselves to mine. It's more coming from the viral nature of the product and the location where that last product has been shown. To give you an example, when I was based in Dubai, an awful lot of our clients would have been financial services, oil, luxury goods, because they are ones that are being exposed to the product in the market and saying to themselves, we need to get some of this, we need to push our product and service using TV and a card. Back in the UK, it's more manufacturing, software, IT. A lot of manufacturing customers who produce things that I'd never heard of, that are actually the process is really interesting. I mean, a lot of drilling companies, how those drills work, how they get under the ground, how they suck what they need to from the ground. This is stuff that I would never read in a brochure. Look, I'm not a target customer of theirs, but actually the video really sells it. So who's our customer? Anybody with a video. Anybody who's made a video about their product or service that they want to sell to customers in the UK or worldwide. Anybody that has a direct relationship with an existing customer base or wants to have one with a new customer base. We had a client 10 years ago. They bought 100 cards and the basis of the card was, I'm sorry I can't be with you right now, but this is an opportunity for me to present myself into your boardroom. I'd like to give you a call next week. Maybe we can set up a meeting and start a meaningful relationship. They sent 100 cards out, they got 80 meeting requests in 2 weeks. So, the application of it has really been driven by our customers and them asking, what can we do with this? How can we play with this? Rather than us presenting to the marketplace, because every product or service is different, every customer is different, and every company is different in the way they want to approach. And it allows you a much more personalized approach. Several times, some of the big companies want to set up meetings with potential customers, and they would send a TV and a card in advance saying, I'm looking forward to seeing you next Thursday, just give you a rundown on who we are. And they walk into the office and they feel like a star. Everybody knows them, everybody's seen the card. The deal is not done, but it's a hell of a lot way further on than it would have been on a wet morning when you look at who you're supposed to be meeting at 10:30 and think, I can't even remember who this person is. So for the cost of a TV and a card, you'd cover that in petrol alone. So it is a much better way. And these are companies that are looking for deals that are worth 2, 3, 4 million in HR outsourcing or heavy machinery or office supplies or whatever. But this is a very, very small investment for the type of relationship it can enable you to have. Education for me, it could go in a lot of different directions. A lot of it's moving online. I think we're going to get to a situation where teachers become the new celebrity chefs of 10 years ago. If I'm the best history teacher in Boston, I'm probably the best history teacher in Europe, or vice versa. So pupils now are being told that they have to study online instead of going to university. So we're creating a paradigm shift there. If I can study online, I can study from any teacher I like, and then that teacher almost gets the vote. So the celebrity or the status of the teacher becomes defined by the audience, and the audience continue to vote with their eyes, just like you know, any good blogger on YouTube is becoming more and more famous. So that's one way I think it'll go in university and further education. I think in early education it's crucially important that we socialise with each other. That's part of the learning and development. I could certainly see the product replacing textbooks for children and for adults. We can have Wi-Fi connectivity on it. It would essentially be not dissimilar to having your iPad in 12 different subjects, and you just pull off your math or your physics or your English, and it's you know, it's video content with the ability to write on it. It encapsulates the whole subject in one. So yes, I think that's probably the way it's going to go. Depending on your product and service and how well I think it will appeal to the market, there is no minimum order. So I'm very happy to make you a single card, but a single card is expensive. It's like producing a single copy of Vogue magazine. It's going to cost more than you pay for it on the racks. That said though, I do ask my customers to toe in the water first. So our new customers, we would always encourage to go lower initially, because it makes them reorder. So it's good for us, it's good for them. And the return on investment is pretty quick. So you don't need to buy 5,000 cards if you've got a customer database where your top 100 customers represent 90% of your income. Send it to them first, because they will generate enough money for you to decide whether you want to expand into the rest of those 5,000, because maybe some of those customers could be in your top 10 and you want to get them in there. But we're not trying to flog you as many as we can. In fact, it's almost the opposite of that. I'd rather you seeing it work for you, because it does work. As I said, 96% of our customers reorder within 4 weeks anyway. Existing customers, they will order however many they feel. Once they've got a feel of how that's working with their product, typically it would be 50% more than they bought last time, and then in staggered numbers of, so somebody would potentially order 100 cards, then they'd order another 200 or 150, that would then go to 500, 800, and then 1,000. It's surprising actually how many of our customers have started very low, and within a year it's part of the marketing spend, and it's staggered out every month. Yes, dispatch is very easy. We often dispatch them on behalf of our customers, particularly our regular customers who are ordering in larger volumes, and as easy as it is, don't want to stuff 500 cards into 500 envelopes. And we just charge the postage costs, so there's no incentive for them to change that arrangement. But yeah, typically 500 cards would come in 8 or 9 boxes, about 90 by 30 by 30. We can store them, you can store them. It's a very, very straightforward process. We use hardcover envelopes, so actually They will go straight through the post room and straight to the person that they're intended for. They look like an Amazon book. The envelope's slightly better looking, but they don't get opened by anyone else, and that's a very, very important factor. Often clients have said to me, we'd like some envelope with some branding, you know, if it's Barclaycard, we want to have the, and it's like, no, don't do that. Keep it brown, keep it straightforward, keep it unknown, and actually it adds to the surprise, because the surprise element is you open the card and a video starts playing the message to you. Now, the more you can distract the person from what's actually going to be happening, like David Blaine, Harry Potter magic, it's the effect is that much better. The onboard hard drive will give you the capacity to play between 1 gig and 8 gig of movie. It's the back end is based on a video photo frame. Now, photo frames were marketed to play photos, but they play video. But that's not how they were marketed. So essentially, we've got a Samsung screen at the front end, which originally was coming through the phones, but now, as technology's developed, is more and more different sizes, which gives an HD crystal clear picture. Best screens on the market. And the backboard is similar to a photo frame, and it opens with a magnetic switch. It's it's whatever cable you want. Essentially, we usually use a micro USB port, but it can be anything. A standard 2-hour battery charge on a card will last years. You know, what happens is you open it, you watch the video, you pass it around to the people in your office, they watch the video, it sits on your desk, occasionally you'll watch the video again, but you're talking about 20 seconds, 30 seconds at a time. So we've never, ever, ever had anybody saying we need more battery life on this. But we do supply units with longer battery life. We supply units for point of sales with 12-hour batteries, but a 2-hour battery is fine. Yes, I used to be able to do an A to Z. I used to do Accenture, Bentley, Calvin Klein, Dr. Dre, Experian, Frankel. Frankel was one of my favourite racehorses. But we do have probably the top 2 brands in every vertical market. You know, going back to what I said earlier, the original concept was, hey, this is going to be great if a company's unheard of. And then the big brands step in and say, this is a nice idea, we'll have some of this, thanks very much. But we have, you know, there has been many smaller companies, we do a lot of charities, and companies with new products that they've never been to market. We launched Lewis Capaldi in for, I think that was for Sony. We did those little scooters, micro scooters, you know. So I've come across things that haven't broken yet and thought, actually, this is nice. I think this might break, and we've been part of the process behind trying to get that out there. So, you know, whilst we won't be the ones fully responsible, we might be part of a TV campaign, or we might be part of another push. These cards might be sent to journalists or bloggers. The applications are almost unending, and I get new applications from my customers all the time. So not only do I deal with every company directly, I tend to deal with them, usually a very, very senior person in that company, because that's how they became senior, because they nicked the ideas of the marketing people. So I might get an initial contact from somebody in marketing saying, hey, I've heard about this. Can you send me some more information? I mean, classic example is Red Bull in Dubai. And we sent them some more information. Then immediately the head of that region says, let's have a chat, come into the offices. I want to find out if this idea is actually worth stealing. Well, so the very first steps for a client who feels that they have something that they want to shout about, we would suggest make a video. Now we can help with that, but usually customers will come to us with their video already made. After that, we would send them a cutter guide. We decide on the type and the format of card they want, what size they want. That's determined by usually how many you want and how you're putting them in the hands of your target audience. If you've got 5,000 cards you want to be sending out to your target audience, you may not want the big bulky card which is going to double your postage costs. So there's conversations to be had right at the beginning of the project about what might happen at the end of the project that we need to know now. We hand a cutter guide to the customer. The customer will create the artwork, we'll proof that artwork and send it back to the customer for approval, or we'll create the artwork for them. But either way, the customer gets final say on the artwork. Once that's done, it's about 7 days print and production, plus 3 or 4 days with to bring in the components, build the cards, 3 or 4 days to send them out to the customer. We've got factories in South Korea and in other parts of Asia, and they would usually receive the cards in about 14 days. So I give a lifetime guarantee on the product. I actually get a guarantee from suppliers for the components and all of that kind of other stuff for between 1 and 2 years. But since we've never had any issues, we give a guarantee for the full lifetime of the product. Yes, so this one is actually a brochure as well as a digital screen. So the digital screen will open but not play. It'll give you a chance to have a look through the brochure itself, and then you just hit the play button and the screen will play. The video content is loaded in a USB via a computer as a drag and drop, in the same way that you would just enter a standard USB key. I'm going to pause that. So this is an invite for membership at the Adair Manor, who have got some very good news coming up. I'm not sure I'm allowed to say it, so I won't. But you have to look forward to that. But that's the 7-inch screen. So we also do an A6 with a 4-inch screen, A5 with a 5-inch screen. So we've got another one here made of velvet and an odd shaped screen on this one. And I think that's because we're going to show some wine being filled up. We have product videos that will explain the technical aspects of each product, so we don't have to go into that now. Anybody can go online and download a product video for each separate screen size that will tell them everything they need to know. And if they can't find it, they can email us info@tvinacard.co.uk and we'll send it to them. For direct mail purposes, we would have A6 size with a 4-inch screen, and that is for high volume direct mail. Medium and high volume direct mail would be anything from a couple of thousand upwards. This, for more medium volume direct mail, it's a A5 size, thin, 5-inch screen. We generally do those in volumes of 500 to a few thousand. Something like this, which is a hardcover A5 card with a 7-inch screen. We would usually do that in lower volume direct mail, and that would be between 100 and 1,000 units, although these guys order several thousand. Similar A5 with a 5-inch screen but with the added brochure. These are generally handed out individually to customers that have come and expressed an interest. And then we've got a 7-inch screen in A4 size, and these are, well, these were given to the Virgin Galactic ticket holders who are going to go up in the Space Shuttle. And I do have one more, which I'm going to have to get up and get. We also, in A5, will do a 10-inch screen. And this is generally for manuals, for complicated technology. You would press the relevant button and it would take you to the relevant section. So there's 7 there. And we can have up to 10 buttons, and we can do things with the buttons, give them dual functionality. So if you had 25 videos, we can still make that work. That is something that our customers like. The fact that when they call, I may be the person that picks up the phone, and I often am. So you've got the inventor of the product as the receptionist, effectively, and that's good. I mean, once you're used to the product, it's quite an easy thing to then decide what you're going to do on with it. But if you don't know about the product, or you don't know about the different screen sizes that are on the market, we are a good place to start. We'll tell you everything, and we have no qualms about discussing any different suppliers, any competitors. It's all fine. You can talk to us. I love it. Yeah. I remember when I first came up with the idea, and I was going on Google, and I said to myself, this has to exist. This cannot possibly not exist in this world. It's too obvious. It's like one of the cards that opens and sings "Happy Birthday" to you, and how sort of novel that was at the time. Well, and there was nothing on Google. And that was a very special feeling, particularly registering all the URLs around TV and video in a card and video brochure and all that stuff. So here's a recent card we made for Unilever. It's A4, 10-inch screen. The video content is on the inside front cover. The videos can be changed simply by pressing the respective button, and that will take you through a step-to-step guide of the company's offering, and you can play and pause at any time, and the volume controls are here. So here's one for a day of manor. This is an invitation for membership of the golf course. It's got a brochure included, so that screen will not automatically play the video until you press play. As soon as you press play, that's a nice video. Awesome. And it's got a call to action on the back. Hooray!